Hey everybody, we're rolling up to Valentine's Day soon, and so I wanted to do a little dish, something simple for y'all to make at home. Maybe you're cooking for your wife, your husband. This is going to be a really easy to put together ahead of time, make the day before or the morning of kind of dish made with some ingredients that you can get at Walmart or Publix or Food Line, whatever happens to be around you, Kroger. Basically, it's a sauteed chicken dish with a little bit of prosciutto, which is a cured ham. It's based on a dish called Chicken Saltimbocca, which you could look up yourself if you wanted to try that. This is Chicken Cecilia. It's effectively going to be chicken breast that I have here that's pounded out already. We're going to season that. We're going to wrap it with this prosciutto. I just have some basic prosciutto that I bought at the store. This is like 7 or 8 pieces here for $5 or $6. Whatever you don't use can be frozen. And then I've got basic Uncle Ben's long grain wild rice, which we're going to do creamy style. I'll show you how to do that as well. So I guess let's get started. First things first, you have your chicken. Now I won't go through all the pounding of the chicken, but basic chicken breast, you can buy something like a 4 or 5 ounce piece. Get a pack of, however many people you're cooking for. If it's only the 2 of you, you can get a pack of 2. I basically laid it out on a table, took a meat mallet, a little piece of plastic wrap, and pounded it out just a little bit, just enough to tenderize it. And that's what I've got right here. I'm going to go ahead and season it up and get a pair of tongs. So my first seasoning here is a basic seasoned salt, Lawry's or something like that. Really simple. You can just take a little bit, season the outside of your chicken, right? Just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. You go ahead and you can put the chicken on itself and flip it over. Get it nice and seasoned evenly around it. You can see here, I'm going to take a little bit more and just sprinkle some on. So really basic, okay? We're going to take that and we're going to saute that up in a couple of minutes. So along with that, we'll put just a little bit of parsley on top of this, just to give it a little bit of color. We'll use the rest of that for the cheese later on. Along with this chicken, I've got a recipe for the green beans that are going to get served with it. I'm going to show you what we do with the wild rice, and then I've also got a recipe for this here, and this is a tomato bruschetta made with grape tomatoes. You can get them at any store. They're little tiny tomatoes, and a little bit of fresh basil. And I'll show you how to do that as well. I've got pictures of it, and I'll have the entire recipe on the blog. Okay, so I'm ready to wrap the chicken now. I've got a pan set up over here. I've got the chicken, I've got the prosciutto, and I want to pan down here so you can see what I'm doing. So this is the chicken breast that we pounded out. This is the prosciutto. As you can see, it's super thin. It comes packed in between layers of plastic. It's a little bit kind of difficult to deal with, but I went ahead and took out 4 of the 8 slices that it came with. So what I'm going to do is take this chicken, and you can see it's just a regular chicken breast that's been pounded, and I'm going to go ahead and take this prosciutto, peel off a slice here, and I'm going to wrap it. And for this, I'm going to wrap on an angle so I get the entire chicken. You can see that I'm just lightly wrapping it around it. We're going to put that aside. I'm going to do the next one. Again, I'm going to go around it and wrap all the way around. And like I said, if you wanted to do this for 2 or 3 people, or if you wanted to do it ahead, it's certainly easy enough to go ahead and do in the morning. Sometimes a little bit difficult to get these on here. You lay your prosciutto on, wrap around the bottom and let it sit. You could either sear this in the morning, or you could go ahead and sear it the night before, or just wrap it the night before, really whatever you like to do. It's not going to make much of a difference in the finished product. In this case, what I would recommend is, let's say you have somebody coming over at 5 or 6, right? What you would do is go ahead and sear this in the afternoon, like around 12. You wrap it and put it in the fridge, come back, sear it just before they come over, and then we'll finish it up really quick. All the stuff would be done ahead. We can even do the green beans and blanch them ahead, and you can do the bruschetta that goes on top of it ahead. Really simple. So I'm going to get this last one done, and then we're going to start sauteing. Okay, our pan is hot. I'm ready to put in some oil. Just be very careful. You want to get your pan, this is just a little bit smoking here, but we're going to go ahead and add our oil to it. and get the chicken in. Now what you want to do is grab this chicken from the back with a pair of tongs. You can see that I've got the pieces folded over behind it. I'm just going to lay it in lightly like that, making sure the prosciutto is facing down. If it comes undone, don't worry about it, just flip it back up and put it where it's supposed to go. It's a lot easier than it looks. You'd think it's going to be a little bit difficult to kind of get it to go in there. It's really not. It goes right in. It's pretty simple. I'm going to get this in there and give it a little shake so nothing sticks. Put this plate aside. These are going to take roughly 2 or 3 minutes on each side. We'll get them seared off. If you've pounded your chicken a good bit, it's going to be almost cooked all the way through right off the bat. So we'll get this nice and hot, let it cook, and in the meantime I'll talk to you about this rice. So what I got was a basic Uncle Ben's wild rice. It comes with a seasoning pack on the inside. Go ahead and prepare it exactly the way they tell you to. Basically, you're going to boil it on the stove, or if you wanted to bring it to a boil, throw it in the oven for a half an hour. It's going to cook up just fine. But you can prepare that exactly the way they tell you to and set it aside. It doesn't have to be done right away. Like I said, if you have people coming over at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, this could easily be done at 3:30 and be put aside on the stove with a lid on it, and you can finish it up right before you serve it. So let me get back to this chicken here. So this has been searing for about a minute on the front side, and you can see it's starting to get a little bit brown and crispy. I put about a tablespoon of oil in here just to get it going. If you want to use a little bit less, I use canola oil. If you want to use olive oil, if you want to use peanut oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil, if you're on some kind of keto diet, perfectly fine. Again, this would be a great recipe for a keto recipe. You skip the rice, do extra vegetables. I'm going to go ahead and flip these over. When you get a close up here, we can take a look and see the front of this prosciutto and the chicken is really getting brown and crispy. If you want to cook it more on the front side and get it even crispier, you're welcome to. I'm trying to keep the prosciutto a little bit lively, but some people like it crisp. They like that flavor with the crispy prosciutto. It's really nice. I'll let these sit. I want to turn off the heat. That's all we're searing them. I'm going to go ahead and take them out of here and put them on a plate and just set them aside and let them rest for a little bit. They're going to go ahead and go in the oven and come back out in a little bit, and I'll show you how to plate it up. So while our chicken is in the oven finishing up cooking, we're going to pretend it's 4:30, 5 o'clock, and your people are coming over. You went ahead and put the chicken in the oven, and it's cooking. The green beans, I went ahead and blanched these. Now, if you've never blanched green beans, I'll have a recipe for this on the blog as well. It's basically taking green beans and putting them in salted boiling water for approximately 7 minutes. Really simple to do. Take a basic green bean. I got these at Food Line, right down the street. Drop them in some boiling water. Let them cook for 7-8 minutes until they start to feel tender. When you cook your green beans, they should still have a little bit of snap. They shouldn't just mush. You should have a little bit of snap, but you shouldn't actually hear them snap. They shouldn't be so crisp that they're hard to eat or chewy. So we're going to take these. I'm going to put a little bit of butter on here. This is just a little slice of butter. It's about a tablespoon. And then this is some garlic salt. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that on top. Regular garlic salt, again, like Lowry's, or if you want to get whatever brand you use. Really simple preparation. Garlic salt and butter. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the oven with the chicken. The rice is in there as well. It's going to take a couple minutes, and we'll come back and plate up. I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so our chicken just came out. It's been in there for about 10 minutes. It's nice and tender still, but definitely crispy on top and ready to go. So what I'm going to do, I have a nice cheese mix here. Now I have Havarti cheese and cheddar, but if you wanted to do like a Fiesta blend cheese, you wanted to do mozzarella, you want to do prosciutto, whatever kind of cheese you want, you can even take sliced cheese to put on this. We're going to cover it with a little bit of cheese and then throw it back in the oven. Now this would be the point. If you had people coming over, you would sear your chicken early in the day. You would go ahead and finish it in the oven right before people showed up, and then when it came out of the oven, you would go ahead and cheese it so that you just finish it really fast in the oven and take it out and plate it up, and it's like you've been cooking it for 3 hours, but you just made it right then. You're not wasting a lot of time in the kitchen. While people are there, you're entertaining. Also, by doing it in the oven, it allows you to get your burners all cleaned up and not have a mess going in the kitchen. It's really simple. You pull it out, throw it right in the oven. It comes out of the oven, and your pan goes in your sink when you're finished. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of this cheese on top of here. And you don't want to load it up, just a little bit on top of each one. And you can see I'm just putting this blend. I just shredded up a little bit of each cheese on top of here. There you go. It's as simple as that. I'm going to take a little bit of this parsley and sprinkle on top, just as a little bit of garnish. So we'll go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of parsley on this. Make it look pretty. This is just dry parsley straight out of the container, nothing big. That's ready to go. This can sit on your counter, say at 5:30 if somebody's showing up at 6, ready to go in the oven. This is going to take 5 minutes to heat up and be ready to plate. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this back in, and then we'll get all plated up. Okay, everything's out of the oven. I got the chicken out. The green beans were in for about 5 minutes. They came out. And I have the rice all finished up. This rice takes about a half an hour start to finish. I've got a little bit of cream here, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of cream to this rice just to make it a little bit stickier and just to add to the kind of fanciness of the dish, make it feel a little bit more different than just regular rice. You can also add cheese to this if you wanted to. A little bit of Parmesan cheese mixed in here when it comes out hot is really delicious. All right, so we have our rice. I put a little bit of cream in there. We're going to go ahead and plate up. So what I recommend, you can put a little dollop of rice on the plate. If you're making two, one for you and one for somebody else, we're going to do this twice. So that's your rice. And put this over here. These are your green beans with the garlic salt that just came out the oven. They're a little bit hot still. The butter that's on there, I'm going to go ahead and mix them up. I'm going to take these green beans, just like this, and put them on the plate. So some right there. Some right there. I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, he makes it look easy. It's really not that difficult. This is a really basic setup. So you see your rice and you see your green beans. Let's go ahead and get the chicken. Here's your chicken. I went ahead and put this in the oven, and it got the cheese got melted. I'm going to take one piece and put it right on top of there. Okay, right in the middle. Take this other piece. Now I have a couple extra here. We went ahead and did 4, but in this case we didn't need all 4. So we have that basic setup right there, and then what we're going to do is just put a little bit of this bruschetta that we made earlier. Again, the bruschetta recipe is online, and you'll be able to see that. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. You can do this with a spoon or a pair of tongs like I'm doing now. We're putting a little bit right on top. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit messy, if it kind of goes all over the place, it's supposed to. I'm going to take that and put it there. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of this juice over the top of the chicken, on top of the rice. And that's it. 2 plates fit for Valentine's Day.